Ferrari has admitted it was late to the party in exploiting the benefits of Formula One's flexi wing tricks because it was convinced the FIA would clamp down on the practice. F1 teams have found that exploiting aeroelasticity on front wings with the current generation of cars can be a powerful tool in getting rid of an inherent trait for low-speed understeer and high-speed oversteer that the ground effect machines have. The balance gains for a well-optimized flexi front wing can be noticeable, and that is why teams like McLaren and Mercedes have made notable steps when optimizing their designs throughout this season. Ferrari has itself adopted a new flexi front wing design since the Singapore Grand Prix to seek its own performance boost in this area, and that has coincided with a return to form for the Italian manufacturer, which included wins in the United States and Mexico. Reflecting on why it was so late to aggressively pursue the concept, Ferrari team principal Fred Vasseur has explained that it stalled because of its belief that a move by the FIA to investigate flexi-wing behaviors from the Belgian Grand Prix would result in the activity being made more restrictive. Instead, as Ferrari subsequently found out, the FIA adopted the stance that it was happy with what teams were up to, and it has made it clear that it sees no reason to change the rules. Speaking to motorsport.com about the flexi-wing situation, Vasseur said, "There was frustration because at one stage we were waiting for the decision of the FIA when they installed the cameras from the Belgian GP. We were convinced that it will go for the no-go, and it went for the go, so probably we lost 1 or 2 months." Vasseur said that Ferrari's decision to hold fire in pursuing a front-wing design that could exploit aeroelasticity better was also influenced by the fact that F1's cost cap restriction meant it could not afford to push on and work on it if there was a risk it would never be brought into use. "It's difficult, because with the cost cap you have to make your choices," added Vasseur. "It means that if you are convinced that it won't be allowed, and you have started to develop something, then it's costing you a time in the wind tunnel. But it was our decision." From the Belgian GP, the FIA ramped up its analysis of the flexing of front wings on teams, installing new video cameras and extra monitoring stickers to allow it to better understand the dynamics at play. Speaking recently about what the governing body had found, the FIA's head of single-seaters Nicolas Tombazis said that the conclusion was that because of the variation of approach of teams, it would have been unfair to introduce any change to flexi-wing regulations in the short term. "Because the front wing gets loaded in different ways, we cannot predict it easily in the regulations," he said. "As no two wings have exactly the same loading pattern, it is very difficult to come with a proper test. So, as these rules have been around since 2022, we felt it was a bit knee-jerk to suddenly say that for 2025 we were going to change it, or indeed change something for 2024. But we are using this information we're gathering to perhaps lead us to something a bit more effective for 2026. Ferrari's most competitive cars in that intervening period tended to exhibit lightning pace over one lap without being able to sustain that speed across a race distance. That was true across the opening 2 seasons of the current ground effect era, as Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz converted a combined 19 poles into 4 victories. However, Ferrari outlined at the launch of the F24 that its development had been tailored towards ensuring that it is most competitive when the points are rewarded. With the Constructors' Championship still an achievable prospect with 3 rounds to go, Ferrari is satisfied that the team's changed perspective has been vindicated. Ferrari was unable to maintain the momentum that saw it win the previous 2 races at a wet Brazil as Leclerc completed the top 5, while Carlos Sainz crashed out. The Italian Marquis struggled in comparison to recent rounds around the Interlagos track, but Leclerc could have wound up inside the top 3 with alternative events. Leclerc was running in a train behind third-place Yuki Tsunoda's RB when Ferrari took the decision to bring him into the pits on lap 24 to change to new intermediates. That would materialize to be the incorrect choice, as the conditions deteriorating led to Franco Colapinto crashing his Williams on lap 32 and bringing out the red flag. The stoppage allowed those who hadn't pitted, including race winner Max Verstappen and the 2 podium-sitting Alpines, to swap tyres without relinquishing a spot. Leclerc, who had emerged behind Oliver Behrman's Haas and Lewis Hamilton's Mercedes, has conceded that hindsight proves Ferrari ought to have avoided that stop. What you think about Ferrari's belief that FIA would take action against flexi-wings cost it 1 or 2 months of development time? Like, and comments below.